What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is going to be a pretty significant video because it's the last of the pre-rescue nerf footage, and also because it's the last regular episode of the Adamantium process before the special episode. That's right, this weekend the next episode will be the special episode no matter what. I guarantee that the very next episode will be that special episode that many of you have been waiting for. But I think that you're going to like this video as well, and that's because of the combination that I've come up with. First, we have the Neurotrope. Next, we have the Ionic Sledge. Then we have Power of 4. And lastly, we have Blade of the Guardian. And the teammates are Rescue and Omega Sentinel. Now with all of these items and these teammates, we're able to bump up Finest Hour and the Ionic Sledge and do major damage. Then we have Power of 4, which will kick in. And once we use that and have all of our Finest Hour buffs, plus the Blessing of Heroes from Blade of the Guardian, we'll be able to do some amazing damage 4 hits in a row and virtually destroy any team. Now in this battle, so far we have a few buffs, but it hasn't gone perfect, mainly because the Bruiser agent on the opponent's team has now gone into astral form. But our main focus is to go ahead and keep applying various buffs with Omega Sentinel and Rescue, and to keep our team at high health. Now the counterattack you just saw was pretty amazing. That was the first time I was ever hit by the free weapon that you get from playing on the iOS. I had no idea that it was capable of that much damage. But still, we do have two characters that are both capable of healing, and also, at this point in time, Mind Link was not a quick action, so Phoenix still casted Mind Link, and then she didn't do an attack after. In recent battles after this point, things definitely have changed. Phoenix has gotten even better, and I already love the character, so it actually kinda helps me out. But they are using a Blaster Phoenix, which enabled me to do 2 different flyby attacks with Rescue, one on Phoenix, and then on the Infiltrator Emma. Next we're casting Reconstruction Matrix, and that's because it applies 3 buffs which increase Finest Hour. So far everything is working out nicely for us to use that Power of 4 and Ionic Sledge combo. So now that's my agent's turn, we're casting Power of 4. Now we should be able to do some really good damage with the Ionic Sledge. Now if you do not have all of the Finest Hour buffs and the Blessing of Hero buff, you can go ahead and use the Blade of the Guardian and try to get the rest of the buffs. It will keep giving you buffs every time you attack with it. And that's just another reason why the combination works so well. But at this point we were already doing really good damage. We were able to kill Phoenix as well as Emma Frost with a big hit. So we just went ahead and kept using the Ionic Sledge. So this combination was really dominating the battle. And that's a good thing because for some reason I didn't recharge a second time. And I hit an agent who was in astral form. So they got a free counterattack. Then they go ahead and use the Triggerman once again. But still we have Omega Sentinel and Rescue, and we're going to get 2 counterattacks here due to the Neurotrope. Now it's going to be the first of Omega Sentinel's 2 turns, and we're going to switch her class. First we check to see how much Plasma Blast would do. It would enrage them, and it doesn't do that much, so we're switching. Then we're going to use the Nano Heal Array. Next we're going to go ahead and use the Defense Array, and we're going to stay as a Bruiser. Then it's going to be Rescue's turn. So with Rescue we're going to go ahead and Flyby Attack, and then use Protector Protocol. Now it's going to be their agent's turn, and we do have Protector Protocol on, so we're going to magnetize them. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. They become magnetized, and then Omega Sentinel is going to protect. So even though that Triggerman would normally hit everyone, Omega Sentinel will take area attacks. Now we're going to go ahead and apply biofeedback to the agent, just to put another dot on them. Then we're going to switch to Tactician and use a targeting laser. So we're going to hit him with the HE targeting laser, and that puts focused on us and targeted on the opponent. Follow that up with a Flyby Attack. At this point it looked like they were pretty weak and we could maybe finish them, so we're going to hit them with another Flyby Attack, and that does end the battle. Next up, we're facing a Phoenix and a Rescue team, and it's a Tactician Agent. With Omega and Rescue, we have to decide which buffs we're going to place and when. So we're kind of cycling through and deciding which buffs are we going to place first. So we're looking through here, and what I ended up deciding was to go ahead back to Scrapper, and we're going to use the Plasma Torch and apply Strengthen first. I do want to mention that the power of 4 kind of helps against Phoenix teams, and that's because usually you may kill Phoenix and she'll still get to use a Phoenix Fire, but with power of 4 you can finish her and then use your extra attacks to finish her again. That way she won't get to use Phoenix Fire. After we use Plasma Torch, we go ahead and switch back to Tactician. That way we can attack Phoenix with an attack that's strengthened. We also gain focused, and then we get a follow-up attack because of tactical maneuvers. So now we're going to switch back to a Scrapper, and we're going to use a Plasma Blast, which at this point already has a few Finest Hour buffs. So we did a good amount of damage to Phoenix already on our first 2 turns with Omega Sentinel. Next we have Rescue, who's also a Tactician. So she gets to attack Phoenix, and then she's going to gain an extra turn. And with her extra turn, we're going to Flyby Attack Rescue, so that should limit her attacks. And then we're going to go ahead and use Protector Protocol, so we gain Fortified. And already, our agent has quite a few Finest Hour buffs. Now Phoenix is going to attack with the Telekinesis on Rescue. Then our agent's going to go and he's going to use Neurotrope. So that goes ahead and gives us random buffs. The goal is to get Blessing of the Heroes. Unfortunately, we only gained Fortified, and we already had that buff. So we're going to decide, do we use an Ionic Sledge, which is going to do really good damage already, or Blade of the Guardian. We decide to go with Blade of the Guardian, and that will give us a buff that we do not have, so it gives us Agile. The only other thing that we have to worry about is, does their agent have the Scroll of Angelob, and will he use it? If not, on our next turn we're going to be using Power of 4. We're going to have Ionic Sledge doing maximum damage. And just as I say that, Rescue uses Status Reset. Now if I had an item like Stainless Steel to add into the mix, it would definitely be over, and nothing could remove those buffs. The good news is Omega Sentinel and Rescue are going to get to go again, so they're going to reapply a number of those buffs. It may not be ideal like it was going to be, but it's still going to be pretty powerful. First we're going to apply Strengthened, and their Rescue is going to protect against that. But our Rescue should be able to take out their Phoenix, because she's going to use Status Reset, then she's going to have a Strengthened Flyby Attack, and an extra attack, due to the Flyby Attack and also tactical maneuvers. So potentially she can do 3 Flyby Attacks on Phoenix if needed. So first we're going to use Status Reset, then Flyby Attack on Phoenix. And she's really close to getting taken out, so we're going to have to use another Flyby Attack. And that should definitely do it. So there goes that. Phoenix is out of the picture, so now we can use Reconstruction Matrix, which puts a number of buffs on my agent, which will help with the Ionic Sledge and Finest Hour. So now it's my agent's turn. We're going to use Power of 4, and then we can use the Blade of the Guardian to gain more buffs if we want. So that's what we're going to do. First we'll use the Blade of the Guardian, and we'll see what we gain as a buff. We gain Focused. So we can use the Blade of the Guardian again, so we'll use that on Rescue. This time we're going to gain Agile. Now at this point we have Blessing of Heroes, we have all we need, and we're able to attack with a guaranteed crit and Ionic Sledge with plenty of Finest Hour buffs. And we hit their agent for 56k, and now we're going to see what we hit Rescue for. It's going to be big. Definitely enough to take her out. So there you see the Blessing of Heroes proc once again. Now we're going to use Ionic Sledge. That hits for 55k, and Rescue is gone with an epic overkill. Now this next battle is going to be somewhat lengthy. We're fighting against Emma Frost, a Bruiser agent, and Kitty Pryde. He has really good ratings, and he also has that first power armor which lowers range damage by 25%. Since we're facing Kitty Pryde, we're going to switch to a Tactician. And then we're going to use mirror images or hologram array. That is to help our team dodge Kitty Pryde's attacks, because as we all know, she does a ton of damage. Then we're going to switch to a bruiser, and it's because we don't want to leave her as a scrapper because they have a bruiser agent. So we're going to switch to a bruiser, and then we're going to go ahead and use the defense array. So now we have defense array on, we have fortified, and we have agile. So we're doing pretty good in the buff department. Now let's see what Neurotrope gives us. We're going to use that. We gain combat awareness and epiphany, recuperation and focused on our agent. So we have a number of finest hour buffs already. But we're going to use Blade of the Guardian, which will give us another buff and also do pretty decent damage to their agent. So we applied Intimidated and we gained Strengthened. Kitty's attack was avoided due to mirror images, and now it's going to be Rescue's turn. So we're going to use Flyby Attack on Emma Frost. And that's because she is an infiltrator and we want to put off balance on her. Now we're going to use Protector Protocol, and then we're going to see what kind of items their agent has, because it's going to be his turn followed by Emma Frost. So first he'll probably use that Signpost, and then I'm guessing a Hotshot. The good news is Omega and Rescue both have Protect status, so we're going to magnetize them. Then Omega Sentinel is going to take the full shot from Hotshot, so no one else is going to get stunned. And even if Omega does get stunned, she has 2 attacks in a row. She also gets to counterattack and place biofeedback on the enemy. Emma Frost used Unlock Potential on Kitty Pryde, so Kitty Pryde's sneak attack is going to do huge damage. We're just hoping that Mirror Images kicks in and we don't have to take the damage. So now it's going to be Omega Sentinel's turn. And she didn't get stunned, so she has both of her turns. So let's switch her class over. We're going to go to a Tactician. So now we're going to check out our agent and see which buffs he's missing. And when we do that, we see that he has pretty much everything he needs. So we can use whatever ability we want with Omega Sentinel. So we think about using the targeting laser, but then instead we go the Neural Disruptors. We're going to try to disorient their agent. It could be fun, especially if he attacks his own team. And we're going to switch protocol. And our first thought was to go ahead and change back to a bruiser and play it safe, and then we would just use Nano Hill Array and top up our health. But after looking at things, we decide we're going to go ahead and switch back to a scrapper, and we're going to knock down Emma Frost a little bit, just to soften her up and hopefully trigger organic recovery. So we're going to use a Plasma Blast on her. We're going to get a double attack, and now she's going to take a lot more damage if our agent goes after her. Now one of the only problems we have right now is Kitty Pryde is in phased mode. So we don't want to use our power of 4 just yet. So we're just going to do an Ionic Sledge on Emma Frost. It hits for 32,000 and finishes her off. Now Kitty's going to use a sneak attack, but the good news is she's going to be magnetized, and then hopefully we can avoid this attack. Now Omega Sentinel did avoid it. She evaded it altogether, so Kitty Pryde is not phased any longer, and we're going to use Flyby Attack on her, which removes Strike from the Shadows and puts off balance on her, as well as Winded. Next we're going to use Reconstruction Matrix. So apply a shield and to go ahead and put a heal on our whole team. Now let's see what their agent has and what he's going to use. He does have the scroll, so he is going to take away our buffs. That's pretty unfortunate because we were going to do some major damage with power 4. But once again, Omega Sentinel is going to be able to put 2 more on him, and we'll have up to 2 turns to use Blade of the Guardian and still hit with 2 Ionic Sledge attacks on each of the opponents. So here goes Omega Sentinel's turn. First we're going to change protocol, and then we're going to change again to a Tactician, and then we're going to use Hologram Array just to be safe. So we gain Agile and Mirror Images. Next we're going to cycle back through our classes to a Bruiser. We're going to leave her as a Bruiser, but we're going to go ahead and use Defense Array. And that way we'll have another buff, Fortified, and we'll also be able to be protected by Omega Sentinel. So now that it's my agent's turn, We could use power of 4, or we could go ahead and try to get some more buffs. So this is kind of a tough decision. We're not sure if we should just use a Blade of the Guardian or not. Now we decided to use it on their agent. That's because the scroll's not going to be used for a while, and we can go ahead and set up a pretty epic power of 4 finish. On Kitty Pryde's turn, she does a Shadow Kick to Omega, but then it's going to be Rescue's turn, and she's going to use Status Reset. And at this point, we're pretty much just setting up that final attack. So let's go ahead and make sure that Winded and Off Balance are applied to Kitty. And then we will use the Protector Protocol. And then we will see what happens with this Hotshot that's probably going to come back again. So first the Signpost. Then we are expecting a Hotshot blast. So let's put Magnetized on him. And then once again, Omega Sentinel is going to take the full damage of it, but instead she avoids it altogether. Now we just want to go ahead and apply Nano Heal Array, and that will help with Finest Hour. And then we want to place another buff on our agent if he needs it. So let's go ahead and check. And we saw that he has basically all the buffs he needs, so we don't need to use the Targeting Blast. He already has Focused. So let's just switch over and use a Plasma Blast on Kitty Pryde. So we'll hit her, and then we'll go ahead and attack once again, since she is an Infiltrator. And then it's going to be our agent's turn, and he definitely is going to finish this with the power of 4 Blessing of Heroes and Ionic Sledge combination. This last flurry of attacks is going to be the end of the video. Let's see what sort of damage we can get. First, Neurotrope. So even if we didn't have Blessing of Heroes, this was going to be a critical hit. I'm thinking that we should be able to take their agent out with the critical hit from the Ionic Sledge, but if not, we have plenty of hits left, because one will definitely take out Kitty Pryde. We'll see if we can do more than 29,000 damage from this hit. So here's an Ionic Sledge, and it is enough to finish their agent. Then we're going to use Ionic Sledge on Kitty, and that will definitely take her out. And that's going to be the end of this video. Like I said, you definitely want to tune in this weekend. It will be the special episode of the Adamantium process. You do not want to miss it. I hope you enjoyed the video and liked the combination as well. I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos.